Acts of Usurpation. Catherine, 25th of May, 1553. Durham House, London.
Today is our wedding day. My sister Jane and I are to be married. All has been arranged, so that the one ceremony will serve for both the daughters of my Lord the Duke of Suffolk and my Lady the Duchess. It has come upon us so quickly that I have scarce had time to catch my breath, and am somewhat stunned to find myself standing in this royally appointed bedchamber, being decked out in my bridal robes. Below the latticed windows, the River Thames, busy with craft and the shouts of boatmen, glides swiftly past London towards the distant sea. There is the usual whiff of fish, mud, and rotting stuff in the warm air, but the light breeze that stirs the heavy damask curtains and caresses my skin is pleasant, and faintly redolent of the flowers in the formal gardens that cluster below around Durham House. We stand like statues, as our nurse, Mrs. Ellen, and our tirewoman, Bridget, fuss around us, pins in their mouths, hands fiddling with points and laces, dressing us in such finery as I have never possessed, while our mother looks on, hawk-like, screeching orders. "Stand still, Jane, and try to look happy. His Majesty has been most generous in his provision for you, and in finding you such bridegrooms. You would not wish word to get back to him that you are ungrateful, I am sure." Jane looks mutinous, as the heavy gown of gold and silver brocade is lowered over her head. "He knows that I did not want this marriage," she says defiantly, "and it is my Lord of Northumberland whom I have to thank for it. King Edward might rule England, but my lord rules the king." My mother would like to strike her, I am sure, but even she would not send a daughter to her wedding with bruises on her flesh. Instead, she contents herself with tugging Jane's wedding gown none too gently into place over her kirtle, and arranging the heavy skirts and train, which are exquisitely embroidered with diamonds and pearls. "You will keep your opinions to yourself, my little madam, and remember your duty to the king, me, and your father, and to the Duke of Northumberland, who is to become your father-in-law this day. Rest assured you would not be getting wed if the king did not wish it. Now, let me look at you." Jane stands awkwardly as our mother inspects her. She told me last night, not for the first time, that she despises outward finery. As a virtuous Protestant maiden, she insists on wearing sober, modest garments of black and white, which infuriates our mother, who is given to lavish attire. I can see that Jane is uncomfortable in more ways than one, in her rich gold and silver brocade, with its low square neckline that reveals the slight swell of her small breasts. I would give much to go forth to my wedding in such a dress, but I am the younger sister, and therefore not as important. Never mind that, unlike the spirited Jane, I am obedient, biddable, and, so my mother says, the beauty of the family, and, which she never says, clearly her favourite. I must always come second. I am second now, my marriage less important than Jane's, my gown of silver tissue banded with crimson velvet and pearls less costly. But as I catch sight of myself in the mirror, with my long strawberry gold hair falling in glossy ripples down my back, my cheeks pinkly flushed, my blue eyes shining, and the tight cut of the pointed bodice outlining my slender figure, I know that I do not need more lavish finery to compete with my sister. We are close, as sisters should be.